We are about to have one hell of a conversation in this video, guys. There is one major problem that I see a lot of people doing, including myself, which is literally costing us thousands of dollars. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about why we need to stop buying on hype and start selling on news, and how this is really just going to revolutionize how much money we're making and when we get in and out of different projects. But without further ado, let's get into this. What do I mean by buying on the hype and selling on the news? Well, here's the situation, guys. There are all these projects that are constantly launching, and in those projects, they will have different utilities that come up in the future. So for example, Borg Club was dropping these corrupted chips. And if you own 3 of these Borg clubs, you were able to get one of these chips airdropped to you for free. And on top of that, if you own just one, you were able to get into the whitelisting or pre-sale of this drop. Now, this sort of thing happens all the time in NFT projects, right? They come out with their season 1, and then later on, they drop a season 2, or they drop more land, or they drop these corrupted chips or mutation serums, right? And what they do is they say, hey, if you own one of our OG projects, you're going to be able to get airdrops of this, or you're going to be able to get basically exclusive benefits, or you're going to be able to get into the whitelisting for these pre-sales. So what happens is there's all of this hype all of a sudden. Oh my God, season 2 is coming out. Oh my gosh, this is going to do so good. Let me buy this season 1, or let me buy some of their previous projects so that I can partake in this and guarantee that I get into the new project. For example, Borg Club was releasing those corrupted chips, right? These Borg clubs went all the way to a 400 ADA floor leading up to this drop. And just one day after them releasing these corrupted chips, Borg Club went from 400 ADA to 270 ADA. The reason is people were able to use this to partake in that whitelisting or get that airdrop, and now that they've already received those benefits, they decided to sell their NFT or their original NFT that gave them those rights. Here's the problem with this, and this is the thing that I'm realizing because it's happening 100% of the time. You are better off having bought Borg Club, for example, before this news was announced, and waiting right before the drop when the hype is the highest, and then selling your Borg Club rather than partaking in this whitelisting, because right after the whitelisting, when the hype dies down or when the utility of owning one of these guys goes down, the price drops more than the gain you would have gotten from that added utility. And if you don't believe me, guys, I'm about to run through a couple of examples here, and I'm about to show you some of these different projects that I think are going to have a sharp decline after their hype utility. Borg Club, example number 1. These Borg clubs went all the way to 400 ADA before this drop, just literally a day ago. And now they're at 270 now that people were able to use them for this drop. So let's see if it was worth it or not. Let's say you bought this thing at 350 rather than 400, which I'm already, let's just say you did that, right? Now all of a sudden you were able to mint one of those new chips for 90 ADA. So now you're able to get in for 440. Let's just say you were able to mint 2 of these chips, which some people weren't even able to mint a single one. I was able to mint like 7 or 8, I believe, but a lot of people weren't even able to mint one because they don't know how to use data lists. You're now in this investment for 530 ADA. That is how much you spent for the 2 chips plus this Borg. Now, how much is your investment worth just literally a day later? Well, you spent 530 for 2 chips as well as the Borg, right? Well, how much is that worth? Well, now your Borg is worth 270. The floor for these chips are about 100. The floor for the persistence ones are about 130, and the Eternals are about 450. Let's just say the average of this, after you account for their 7.5% royalty plus another 2% to JPEG Store, so pretty much 10%. Let's just say that you got 110 ADA from each of these chips. You're now looking at plus 220. You're looking at 490. So you would be down 80 ADA from buying one of these Borgs, and that's if you were able to get 2 chips. Now, there was a chance that you got lucky and you got one of the Eternals, but to say that you're getting at least 110 after fees was honestly generous in this situation, and you weren't even guaranteed a single chip in the whitelist. A lot of people got mad that they didn't get any at all. It's even worse if you tried getting the airdrop by owning 3 of these guys. Remember, if you paid $350 minus the $270 that they're worth right now, you're losing 80 ADA a pop off of these Borgs. Let's say you bought 3 of them in order to get that free airdrop. Now you are down 240 ADA, and that airdrop was most likely only worth 110 ADA, so you're down 130 ADA from that investment. In this situation, you would have been much better off statistically on selling your Borg when it had rose a bunch. This is a prime example of why you have to sell on the hype instead of buying on the hype. You want to sell on the news, guys. Think about it. If you own a Borg club and it's like 250 ADA, for example, and then all of a sudden they announce that they're doing this huge utility where you can get this corrupted chip, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to hold that Borg club and then sell it to someone else before that utility even comes. And it's not just in Borg club situation. I'm about to bring up several projects that have had this same exact result. It's much better selling on that hype and selling on the news. Oh, there's going to be a season 2 and you need to own one of these guys. Well, if you already own one, you hold that thing, you wait until that utility is about to come, and you sell that thing, because it is going to pay you more statistically than trying to FOMO in to this hype when everyone else is buying. You want to sell when everyone else is buying. You want to sell when hype is the highest, because that's when people are FOMOing in, and you want to buy when hype is the lowest. So right now, for example, these chips, I'm buying up like crazy, because right now I personally think that the hype is the lowest, and when they announce the utility for these chips, and when you're actually able to mutate your Borgs and they look super cool, guess what's going to happen? The hype is going to go crazy again. The FOMO is going to go crazy again. Everyone is going to want to buy this thing. So the key is, guys, is we always have to remember, we have to buy when people aren't paying attention to it and when price dips a lot, and we have to sell on the way up or when that utility or that big bullish news is announced. Some of you guys are thinking, oh, well, this was just one situation that you're pointing out. Let's look at ADA Ninjas, guys. Let's look at ADA Ninjas. That it has unfortunately gone down a lot. But I'm about to tell you what I think that people should do. These ADA Ninjas, they announced a season 2, and sorry I'm getting I'm getting a little hype here. All right, this whole hype talk is getting me freaking juiced. These ADA Ninjas had rose from 20 ADA all the way to 100 ADA because you were going to be able to mint a season 2 one for one if you own these ADA Ninjas. What the heck happened, guys, as soon as that drop happened and people were able to get their season 2? All of a sudden, you're down 50%. You would have been much better off holding that ADA Ninja from 20 all the way to 100 and selling that ADA Ninja before that season 2 drop. And you know why? On top of that, look how poorly season 2 is doing. 30 ADA. I'm pretty sure these had costed 48 ADA. So you would have been down 18 ADA off of this purchase before royalty fees and before any of that stuff. And you would have been down 50% off that season 1 ADA Ninja. You would have been much better off, once again, selling on the hype rather than waiting for this utility to happen, because now all of a sudden everyone is selling these and they're selling these dirt cheap. So you know what you're supposed to do in this situation? You're supposed to take that profit that you got from that season 1 going up so much, and you're supposed to buy these right now. Like, call me crazy, but this is the time you buy stuff, when people aren't paying attention. I know there's going to be a season 3 for ADA Ninjas. I know that when they announce the season 3, you're most likely going to have to own one of these Atsuku or the Amaro or whatever it's called, the season 1 or season 2, in order to mint that season 3. And you know what's going to happen? This 30 ADA floor, when they announce that, is going to go to 50 ADA, 100 ADA, 200 ADA. Who knows where we're going to be at in the market at that time? But then, guess what? That's when everyone's buying it. They're buying in on that hype. That's when I'm going to be selling on the news. And this is a hard thing to do because it's very easy to get caught up in this hype and you don't want to miss out and you're FOMOing, but it keeps happening again and again and again. Stop buying on the hype. You sell on the hype. And if you weren't in before that hype started, like let's say you didn't own one of these ADA Ninja season 1 before this was announced, then what you do is you wait for the hype to die down like it is right now. And this is when you buy some up at the floor when no one's paying attention to it. I'm literally pulling pulling up more examples here, and you guys are going to see this exact thing play out, and I'm very confident on it, and you guys can crap on me if I'm wrong. These lazy llamas are dropping land tomorrow, and you have to own these lazy llamas in order to get into the land. You know what's going to happen after these lazy llamas land drops, and after everyone who bought this for the whitelist, you know what's going to happen when that's over? These lazy llamas are going to drop in price, and they're going to see something very similar to Board Club, where this 397 floor, and I'm calling it right now, in 2 days, guys, is going to be under 300. It's going to be 300 or lower, because everyone is going to have bought that land, and they have no reason now to hold these lazy llamas. Right now is the time to sell these lazy llamas, and then when those 20,000 plots of land drop, and everyone's freaking selling because we are in a market of sellers right now, that's when you buy some up at the floor, because you know there's going to be added utility in the future. This is a perfect example of selling on the news and the hype right now and not buying. Do not buy these lazy llamas at 397. You're going to be much better off selling them if you have them right now, and then purchasing some of that land when everyone undercuts each other, which has been happening on every single drop recently. I'm not done here on this rant, guys. I'm really gonna put this in. Boss Cat rocket parts. Boss Cat rocket parts, guys. This floor is going to drop below 4,000 within the next couple days, in my opinion. And I actually had built a rocket. I think that as a long-term investment, this is a great investment. I know that people don't like the stuff that Boss Cat Rocket Club does, but I do think these rockets are going to do very insane. You know how I know this is going to drop a lot in price? Because Boss Planet has been hyped up to hell. You know what's going to happen? All these people owning one rocket part in order to take a part of this whitelisting are going to get some of those Boss Planets. Yes, they're going to make some money off of that, but then the parts that they owned in order to get it are going to drop significantly. I would be surprised if these parts don't drop below 4,000 ADA within the next week. Look here, guys, and this is the biggest reason. If I look up Space Rocket, the floor for this is 21K, and that's actually a lot higher than what it usually has been. It has been floating around this 18K range, right? You can't build a freaking rocket for 21,000. The minimum part is 6,300 or 6,500. Look at this, guys. 6,500 times 3 is 19,500. 19,500 ADA if you were the luckiest person in the world and were able to get 3 matching parts at this price. It probably costs right now over 25,000 ADA worth of Boss Cat rocket parts in order to build a rocket. What does that mean? It means that a lot of people are owning these rocket parts to take part of this white sale, to take part of this whitelisting, right? And you know what's going to happen to rocket parts as well as rockets, as well as Boss Cats in the next couple days after the 13th when everyone was able to get into the presale? They're going to drop like crazy. And all those land plots from Boss Planet, people are going to undercut each other, and they're going to make some money off of flipping those Boss Planet land parcels, but it's not going to be nearly as much as the money they're going to lose on these parts. This is a perfect example of selling this right now, waiting for 213 to end, waiting for Boss Planet to end, and waiting for all of these people to relist their rocket parts. And then that's a situation where I'm going to go ham, because I know that this is a project that is going to be much bigger in the future. And all of a sudden, if these Boss Cat rocket parts drop to 3,000 ADA within the next week, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to buy up a ton of those, and I'm going to build a ton of rockets. And I might be able to build rockets for anywhere between, let's just say, 9 and 12,000 ADA. And I know over the next several months, over the next year, that might be a 3, 4, 5, 10, 20 times my investment, because I'm getting in once again when the hype dies down, when people use the utility of owning these things, and now they're all undercutting each other to get out. This sort of stuff keeps happening every single time. I literally went through so many different examples in this video, as well as just examples outside of this video. You guys need to take a step back and start selling on the hype. NFTs at the end of the day are only worth as much as someone is willing to pay for it. You want to be selling when people are buying and buying when people are selling. This is how you're going to make the most money in this. Don't get distracted with all of these different utility promises in the short term and, oh, look, you can get into season 2. Oh, look, you're going to be able to get this lazy llama island land. Oh, look, you're going to be able to get these chips. Screw that. I'm selling my stuff from now on before this happens. I'm tired of taking L's on this. I'm tired of being a victim of the hype, and I'm going to be buying when people are selling. And these Borg chips right now, you know what your boy is doing? I'm buying a bunch of them. I think I have like 15 or 16 of them now. I was able to get about half of those for the 90 ADA retail, but I'm buying a bunch of these because Like I said earlier in the video, once they announce that utility, once you're able to do something with it, once you're able to take a part of the DAO, once all these people are like, oh my God, look how cool this is, those chips are going to go up like crazy. And I expect those chips to go up very similar to Lazy Llama serums that are going between 300 and 400 ADA right now. And I'm telling you guys, these chips are a great example of people undercutting and selling and freaking out right now. And that creates an opportunity for me and other investors that are willing to see the long-term future and realize that utility and hype is gonna come back on these different projects. That pretty much wraps up this video though, guys. I'm sorry I got like pretty heated in this. It's just like, dude, I have been seeing this time and time again, and I'm honestly pissed at myself for not taking a step back and recognizing the hype and recognizing what's been happening time and time again. It's time to start being ahead of the rest of the crowd. It's time to be doing things that other people aren't doing, and it's time to capitalize on the hype and on the news rather than being a victim of the hype. That wraps up this video though, guys. If you enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and my Twitter is in the description. Make sure you follow that as well. I'm gonna be releasing a Discord group soon that's just gonna be a community Discord where we can all go in there, talk about different projects, just get to know each other a little bit more. So keep an eye on my Twitter for that. I will be creating that pretty soon here. But yeah, I hope everyone here has an awesome day.